JLR?
Wild stuff that was brought to me and Magnolia's attention when it comes to this case. Come on in. Come on in. Continuous coverage of Mica Francis, John Paul Miller, Solid Rock Church, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is a wild case. As some of you might or might not know, in the last 48 hours, a Solid Rock Church
All right,
member.
now let's head down to the lot where Tom Brady is.
I had to turn off the volume on the other
Oops.
screen here. I got this like multiple screens all over the place. This is wild stuff because it never ceases to amaze me when it comes to this case and about the players and participants involved here with this scandal going on. Plus, he also spoke again, by the way, and they're saying that the channel that he speaks on, True Crime RI, is a stock photo, and I'm going to show you. They're saying that it's the individual that's running the account is using a stock photo, a Google stock photo. But let's go back
A stock photo?
to what in the world's going on. One of the church members, Robert Lochel, an elderly man, we call him this sprinkler guy. He's been arrested, folks. Robert Lochel has been arrested. He's charged with 5 counts of assault. Very, very interesting, though. I'm looking at the penalties in reference to this case. This is the guy right here. This is the guy. We showed his image. He goes out there and sprays it. Definitely deliberate. To me, it's assault all the way. Protesters, press charges. 5 people. So he's charged with 5 counts of assault. Interesting, though, that the penalty for what he did, I don't see jail time or prison time involved here. I just see a significant amount of fines in reference to the maximum penalty for what he did. Now, folks, here's where it gets interesting. Here's where this whole case gets interesting. We're going to play John Paul Miller. He speaks about the Dare to Care mission. I think he's doing that to save face because the FBI is coming and he has to use the money that was all given to him for this cause because if he doesn't, he could be facing some fraud charges, which we always felt like is coming. But in this case, this
Dun dun dun.
case right here, this is the new information I want to share that was brought to our attention. Okay, so the attorney representing him, he got an attorney. It's on the docket. It's Russell B. Long, right? Russell B. Long is the individual that has been sending out cease and desist on behalf of John Paul Miller. Russell B. Long, this guy right here. The offices of Russell B. Long, right? His office has been sending out cease and desist letters to members and former members of Solid Rock Church or anyone, Mica Francis's family or friends. Friends, I think, received them. Anyone that's been talking about the case, they're trying to silence, right? Be quiet, right? So he represents John Paul Miller, but now he represents Robert Lochel, the sprinkler boy, the man that got arrested. So I'm thinking John Paul Miller said to Robert Lochel, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Russell B. Long will take care of you. He's the attorney. He'll take care of you. All that good stuff. Well, guess what, folks? Here's the new information I want to share. And a lot of you probably already know this, but then it gets very, very, very deep because we started doing a deep dive on this guy. Right here. And it seems like the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree, considering that John Paul Miller, Reginald Wayne Miller, right, his dad involved with scandals and frauds and everything. Well, guess what, folks? His own family has been in trouble with the law. Some egregious things I want to share with you on JLR Investigates. So we're talking about Russell B. Long because we're going to hear more about him because he's representing John Paul Miller. We don't know to what the extent. Maybe they file defamation lawsuits against people. Maybe they don't. But he's now representing Robert Lochel. He's involved. He seems like he's the church, you could say the church litigator, the church lawyer. How he gets involved with John Paul Miller, I don't know. But we're going to talk about another guy right here. I'm going to flip the camera around because we're going to talk about this man right here. And his name is Marion Buddy Long. Marion Buddy Long. Let's talk about Marion Buddy Long. Marion Buddy Long is what I'm told is the brother of Russell B. Long. And here's where it gets really crazy, folks. Conway attorney nabbed again for indecent exposure.
How dare you?
No. Oh, no. Indecent exposure? They're like, his name should have been Russell B. Short. That's what his name should have been. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. That is a joke. And that's what we call a good one in the business.
What? Here we go, folks. It seems so ironic here when it comes to John Paul Miller and these indecent exposure stuff. Well, guess what? His own attorney's brother was arrested years ago, just like John Paul Miller's dad, Reginald Wayne Miller. So it says here, for the second time in over a month, a Conway attorney has been charged with indecent exposure. On Wednesday morning,
He crazy as hell. He crazy as hell for that. Emmy, thanks for the super sticker. Very sweet of you. Thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate you. Let's keep going.
Jefferson Marion Buddy Long turned himself into the J. Reuben Long Detention Center to face 2 counts of indecent exposure. According to the Horry County Police, 2 women on January 22nd told investigators Long exposed himself to them numerous times between the spring and summer of 2006. According to the report, Long would stand naked in front of his home's glass storm door and expose his private parts. The 2 women were ages 12 and 18 at the time.
Oh my God, not 12.
How dare you?
I thought he was talking about like grown women, not 18 and 12 years old, just standing there.
Bruh.
According to the report, Mr. Long willfully, maliciously, and indecently exposed himself to
JLR said Mr. Wong. And he went, Long. Oh, man, I wonder if that was a Freudian slip.
the public. The report says. News Channel 15 was in court Wednesday morning as Long surrendered and faced a judge. The judge set his bail at $1,000. Yikes. Yikes. Brother of Russell B. Long. So it's interesting because we were wondering on JLR Investigates why this guy is so invested in John Paul Miller. Well, it looks like they all of them have something in common. Birds of a feather flock together.
Why did it sound like he was just going to end at birds? They got a lot in common. Birds. Whoa. Chesley? I think it's Chesley. Thank you. Thank you for the $5 super sticker. Damn, you guys are amazing. Thanks for the love. Make sure you guys hit that little link that's pinned at the top of the comments. You can join the channel. You can become a misdemeanor, a felony, or a capital case. Y'all go click that and check it out. Thanks for the super chats too. And TikTok, thanks for the community crowns. That's what we're trying to get. We got about 18 left. Y'all hit me with those. Tap the screen like crazy and come over to YouTube. The Mystery Project on YouTube. If Chelsea, Sicily. Got it. Sorry, I suck at pronouncing names. But I appreciate it. See, I got it right in the end because you told me how to say it.
His own brother charged with the same stuff, similar conduct that John Paul Miller's own father was charged with. You remember his father, Reginald Wayne Miller, exposed himself to undercover officers in the Myrtle Beach Police Department. But guess what, folks?
Oops.
That's not it. Because Russell B. Long's own father, his own father, let's talk. His own father is involved with other scandals. Let's talk about his dad. See, it's a criminal enterprise with all these players and participants. They're all of them, and their family members all have fraud and indecent exposure charges. This guy, his dad, was supposed to be an ex-senator. He was an ex-senator. Ex-senator involved in Operation Long Trust dies. J.M. Bud Long, Jr., a former senator who pled guilty to lying to a federal agent during Operation Lost Trust, has died. He was 76.
Whoa.
Long, who died Friday, was elected to the Senate in 1984, but his political career ended in 1991 after he was indicted along with 27 legislators, lobbyists, and other public officials were later convicted on corruption and drug charges on an undercover investigation of vote buying. It aged him 30 years and 10 years. His son, J.M. Buddy Long III, said Saturday. Long was convicted of bribery in 1991.
but the conviction was overturned and he later pled guilty to lying to a federal agent about receiving $2,800. Friends and family of Long's, so basically friends and family remember Long's years of service to his community. Before he was elected to the Senate, Long was elected prosecutor in 1962 and Myrtle Beach municipal judge in 1977. When he was an attorney, he gained a reputation as a tough opponent in the courtroom. As a lawyer, I think Bud was one of the best crossers that I've ever seen, said Morgan Martin, longtime friend, who has served with Long on General Assembly. Long was raised in Myrtle Beach. His father, Jefferson Mary Long, was a prominent attorney, and his mother, Mary Miller Long, was a teacher and an elementary school principal.
Whoa.
The point I'm trying to say here, right, is the Longs
and John Paul Miller, they're tied in together, and they have really, really strong community ties in certain types of power and scandals. This guy's own father was did they say a judge? This guy's own father has prominent ties in the Myrtle Beach area. He was a municipal judge in 1977. His dad, Russell B. Long, the one that's now representing John Paul Miller. But he was also involved with this scandal. So do your research. Operation Long Trust. Wow. I cannot believe that, folks.
His little cat went, Randall, thank you. Howdy, ma'am.
So he got Russell B. Long, and all the Longs have been in trouble, a lot of the Longs. Corruption runs deep when it comes to this guy. So his lawyer, Russell B. Long, gives out a statement about the recent arrest of his new client, Robert Lochel. And I'm going to play this news report right here.
Ooh, I didn't hear this.
What happened.
I didn't hear this. Let's go.
With this case of the sprinkler stuff.
Bond hearing today for this man who is accused of spraying protesters with a pressurized sprinkler outside Solid Rock Church. Robert Lochel faces 5 counts of third-degree assault and battery. The judge gave him a conditional bond and set an August 14th trial date. The judge also ordered Lochel to not contact the people involved in this case through social media. If convicted, the 67-year-old could face almost $5,500 in fines. News 13's Jackie Labrizzi joins us live in Myrtle Beach. And Jackie, you went to today's bond hearing, spoke to a protester who said they saw what happened.
Yes, I did, Edward. Just over an hour ago, the city judge says he does not find the defendant brings danger to the community and is still allowing him to go to church at Solid Rock, but not allowing him contact with any of the 5 victims. Let me remind you, this incident comes almost 2 weeks later, and today I spoke with a protester who explained the events leading up to the spraying.
Some of us will be over here, but one of us, somebody stands over here in a silent protest. Like we all do different things, but we basically just stay on the sidewalk and we just chant justice for Mica.
Myrtle Beach resident Melissa Pfeiffer says she's never attended Solid Rock at Market Common Church, but says it's her goal to draw attention to domestic abuse in Mica's law. Pfeiffer says every Sunday she, along with 30 to 45 other protesters, gather in front of the church.
We just hold signs and we chant and we call for justice for Mica. We call for the church to be shut down. They ordain registered sex offenders.
Says they're careful not to go on church property or act aggressively towards anybody, but she says the past 2 Sundays have been different. She says on June 30th, church founder and senior pastor John Paul Miller went up to the protest organizer and asked her to come inside the church to speak privately. She said no.
After that, he went to walk into the church.
Winter Moon, thank you. Can you imagine? Hey, I need you to come on inside so we can speak privately.
You what?
Nah, I'm good out here in the public eye. I wonder what it would be like in there, though. Y'all, should I go to South Carolina? And just like, I mean, it's a church. You can go into their service, can't you? You can go in and be like, hey, I'm new to town. I was just checking out some churches.
Church and then turned around and went and talked to the cop, and then he turned the
Food for thought. Maybe I just never come out.
sprinklers on that they had positioned to spray us. They said they were watering their lawn, but it was positioned all the way up where it would spray us. My God!
blood is on your hands. The events continued. Pfeiffer says after the service, churchgoer Robert Lochel came outside, walked up to the group, ripped the sprinkler out of the ground, and sprayed 6 protesters in the face. That video is on your screen now. Pfeiffer says she spoke to the officer present on July 7th, who she says misspoke about Lochel's age.
He's an 81-year-old man with health problems, and they did not want an 81-year-old man with health problems in their jail overnight, because if something happens medically wise, they would have to take an officer off the street and go sit with him in the hospital.
Lochel's attorney, Russell Long, is also one of the attorneys representing John Paul Miller. And Pfeiffer says since the incidents, barricades were put up for their protection, but says it feels as if they're the ones being treated as the aggressors. Live in Myrtle Beach, Jackie Labrizzi, News 13.
Jackie, thank you. Melissa Pfeiffer says they've also received threats on social media. She says Myrtle Beach police told them it's not a violation of free speech because it was directed toward a group and not a specific.
Okay. So, here's the thing about that. As you heard, Russell Long now represents Robert Lochel. Now, I can give you my opinion about, because there's some, people are a little bit outraged that he wasn't, Robert Lochel, put in handcuffs, right? Charged with 5 counts of assault. He wasn't put in handcuffs. I understand the positions. I can just say, as much as I feel like the guy was wrong, the guy's not going to prison for this. The guy's not doing probably 1 day of jail for this. But he is going to be held accountable for it. I don't know how Russell Long could get out of it for his client. His client was caught, spraying somebody. But I do think,
caught wet-handed. Oh, man, I tell you what, I give me one of them strawberry Dr. Peppers in me, and the wit comes on out, y'all. Not red-handed, wet-handed. Stop it. That's another good one, y'all. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. 27 likes to go. We're at 200. TikTok, hit the follow button. Hit me with some bear action.
Not arresting him and giving him the opportunity to self-surrender because of his age. I don't personally have a problem with that. I saw that, and me and Magnolia were talking about that a little bit. Is it special treatment? Putting somebody, now I don't know if he's 81. I think he is in his 60s. I don't think he's that old. He doesn't look that old. But if the guy had health problems, it could be a liability on the jail part. So maybe they gave him an opportunity to self-surrender, come in the next day, whatever like that. And it looks like he did. So I don't have a problem with that. He's going to be held accountable for what he did. He's not going to jail, people, or prison for what he did. I mean, it's just, even the judge just let him out on a personal reconnaissance. So he's not going to go to jail on that stuff. He's 67. People are saying it's correct, his age. I don't know his age. 67. That's what people are saying. He's listed as 67. See that? That's like a Vine link report. 67, 165 pounds, 5'10". He's charged with assault and assault in the battery of the 3rd degree. I don't even know if you face jail time for this. It's weird. South Carolina has some weird laws here going on when it comes to this stuff. Particularly, you got to have 3 reports in order to get a restraining order on people. Most states you don't need all of that. So it's very, very strange stuff. But according to the docket, he got a lot of cases. Each case is 24A 2606 01542, 01543, 01544, 01545, 01546. Pending. And plus he has a speeding ticket that he got just a couple months prior. So he's in the system. Russell B. Long representing him. Let's talk about the next thing right here. I got a lot of different things in the chat, so I'm sharing with you. This account, people are like, well, who is this person? Who is this person? Well, it looks like, according to the Justice for Mica group, this person comes under Google stock photo as a Sharon Walsh. Everyone wants to know who is running the channel where JP Miller, is sharing information. Who is running that? Who is running that account?
Who's sharing the information? And her name is Sharon.
Unhinged bananas crazy.
Is it a fake person? Is it really a Sharon Walsh that's running it? Or is it somebody that just snagged her photo and threw that information up on the channel? I don't really care. Regardless, I'm just throwing out what people are putting out. I don't care who's running the channel. I actually enjoy listening to the stuff that's put out because I want to hear what JP has to say, because I think every time he says something, he shoots himself in the foot. Every time he speaks, he shoots himself in the foot.
Your foot ain't in the middle. Holy hell, that didn't look like he was shooting himself in the foot right there. Holy mackerel.
But also, every time he speaks, I feel like it's calculated, manipulated. I feel like there's an agenda. I think there's a motive every time he speaks, and I think he's a reactionary type of guy. And he reacts based off what is presented in front of his face. I think he's easily
emotional,
gaslit, be honest. And case in point, he speaks again. He spoke again 2 nights ago. He speaks about the Dare to Care mission, and he's going to set up a mission and everything like that. But I think he's doing that because he knows the feds are breathing down his throat. And there's a lot of, a lot of controversy centered around the money when it comes to the Dare to Care mission and those people out there in Africa not receiving money. So now he knows he's under investigation for that. So what does he do? Oh, we're setting up a mission for Mica because, the feds are breathing down his neck, and, he has to prove that money for what he's the raising the money for the Dare to Care for that cause, because if he doesn't, that's fraud. So I think he's now finally acting, but then he's using it under Mica's name at the same time, using other videos to degrade Mica's family and also put Mica out there like she was mentally ill and everything like that. It's a huge contradiction. But nevertheless, we'll listen to what he has to say. He posted this a couple nights ago.
Hey y'all, I was just sitting here looking at some pictures and videos, of course, of my wife, and couldn't help but come across all the ones that have to do with the mission trips that we went on. I'm not a missionary. I don't like mission trips. I'm a teacher. I like to stay home and teach, but she loved the mission trips, and especially when she went to Africa last year. When she came back, I picked her up at the airport, and she was overwhelmed with joy. And she came back. She said she wanted to start a school, a Faith First Academy in Africa. And I said, Mica, you can't do that. I said, that's not possible. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources. We don't have the teachers, the curriculum, the location, the place. We don't have it all. Well, that was kind of a challenge for her. And so for the next month, and the way when you communicate with Africa, they're in a completely different time, of course. And so when you send them a message, you don't get a response to the next day, and then you send it, and then the next day. And about a month later, she brought me a notebook. She had the teachers, the location. She even had the lunch lady, someone who was going to bring these children food. And she brought me everything we needed. And she got it down to about $500 a child per year. And then I'm the good guy that's good with financial stuff. And so I was able to get it down to $300 for a year for a child to go to school there. And that includes the food that they get each day. And so we sent a team at the beginning of this year.
Why would you even post this? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what? Huh? And this is what you should have said at the sermon at the church that day. This is what you should have said. But why post it now? It seems so ridiculous, doesn't it? Like, it seems like, oh, look over here. And even doing this, and he's talking about it and saying, oh, yeah, she did all this, but I'm the one who was able to get it here, and I'm the one who did this, and I'm the one who did that. And it's like, just say we. Just say we. Like, why do you have to just try to show yourself as like this crazy ass, like on a pedestal, greatest thing that ever happened to humanity? My God. Look at like Mother J.P. Risa. That's a Mother Teresa joke, y'all. It's crazy. And I said it the other day. It's like, in my opinion, it just seems like it's like too little too late. You know what I mean? Like with everything coming out, it's just kind of like, you're just not that dude anymore. You know what I mean? Like you just, nobody is, or I would imagine not very many people are going to want to send you money. Like, what the hell? It's crazy to me. Maybe some people do. I don't know. And if people do, I hope that it really is going to these kids. I mean, the guy over there said that it isn't, but hopefully it finds its way to these children that actually need it. But my God.
And we were expecting about 75, maybe 80 kids. The first day we had 150. By the end of the week, we had 300. And now we have about 350 children begging and pleading for us to start our school back in August of this year. And so in honor of Mica, we're doing it. It's her mission. She came up with it. She started it. She did all the work. She prepared the way. She laid the foundation. And so we are sending a team, and we're praying to God that we have enough of what we need to be able to feed the 300 and something kids, curriculum provided, teachers trained, and everything. And we're really, really excited.
It just went from 60 or 70 to 300. you hear that? Listen.
She did all the work. She prepared the way. She laid the foundation. And so we are sending a team, and we're praying to God that we have enough of what we need to be able to feed the 300 and something kids.
He says 300, but then right before that, he says...
At the beginning of this year, and we're expecting about 75, maybe 80 kids.
So they're expecting 75, 80 kids, but they need money to feed 300.
Curriculum provided, teachers trained, and everything. And we're really, really excited. So that's something we have to look forward to. We'll send you pictures when it comes out. And if you go to dare2caremissions.com, you'll see our website, and that's where Mica started, of course. And so if you love Mica, you got to love the people of Jabbrock, because that was her big thing that she enjoyed so much.
Now, all that money should have went to Dare to Care a long time ago. And he also talked about finances and cost cutting and whatnot. Yeah, because
how dare you?
Because a lot of that money that was for Dare to Care didn't
Thank you, Desiree.
go to Dare to Care. And now the feds are breathing down his neck. And what is he doing in return? Now he's suddenly doing all these things to help these children.
Then it went to Dare to Where. Where did it go?
Whatnot, and he's going to have something coming up soon and everything like that. No, that stuff should have been done a long, long time ago, where everyone donated for it, Dare to Care, thinking the money was going to go to Dare to Care. And it actually, believe it or not, went in the pocket of this guy. And they didn't even receive a dime. But now he's suddenly doing
Damn, did it really?
Doing it now. Why? Well, because he's being investigated for fraud. And a lot of it, the investigation with the FBI, what we're told, based off people that spoken to the FBI is, speaking to people about Solid Rock's finances, the church, and JP Miller in general. Now what he's trying to do is he's trying to, after the fact, what I would call this the cover-up. The cover-up. Now the money's going to be suddenly used, but he has to cost it drops from $500 to the $300 range. It's all a scheme, folks. It's all a scheme.
Yeah, that's crazy as hell. Desiree, thank you for hitting that goal.
It ain't been a Ponzi scheme, to be honest. But this is what this guy is up to. And again, he's a reactionary pastor, so he reacts and does things based off what's presented in front of him. And he's easily predicted. We got him. We got him on point, and understand his method.
Yeah, he's hella emotional. He's like one of those people that just like something happens and he's like, and then he goes, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. You got to be stoic, bruh.
Operations, right?
Stupid.
We'll call it out. I call it a snake oil salesman. I say he's trying to sell people the lemons, and he's a car salesman. He hides under the cloak, and everything when it comes to this guy is about money, because that's what turns the wheels here. That's where you get Russell B. Long, and that's where the church is. And you know what? One thing though, it is interesting, and going back to Lochel, Robert Lochel, and the rest, and him not being taken out. Some people say, again, I think it's, I think it's fine about him self-surrendering. But imagine, folks, if this guy got taken out in handcuffs at the Solid Rock Church. Imagine if he got walked out, perp walked. The optics about a church member being charged with assaulting people at Solid Rock after all that controversy would have, scared more people from going to Solid Rock Church.
Right.
Their livelihood right here is in serious jeopardy when it comes to the finances and JP Miller's whole operation. Because in order for him to effectively operate, he needs people's money. He needs church members' money. He needs people's money to, so we can be able to fund all these things he's going through. Possible wrongful death suits, possible fraudulent. Now we got another problem with Lochel. He got a problem because Lochel assaulted church members on church property, which opens up John Paul Miller and the Solid Rock
protest members
church for liability with this case. So it's just it's wild out the wazoo. But I do want to share one thing because he spoke. Russell Long spoke, and he said something about the protesters. Let me see if I can find that statement where he said something. Russell Long said something about.
Thanks, Angie.
Let me try to find it here. He said basically the protesters are like he's blaming the protesters. He's blaming the protesters for.
How dare you be standing there where he's trying to spray the sidewalk intentionally?
Let me get the actual statement here. So that's but I turn.
Oh, Angie, thank you. Galaxy Gang checking in too. Thanks for the Dinies. Tiny Dinies, Galaxy Games.
You know, that's what Russell B. Long does. He's a paid mercenary. Let me see if I can get that actual clip here and see what I can find. Be patient. Oh, by the way, there's a church event coming up this weekend. Here's a church event, by the way. By the way, there's another thing I want to share with you while I look for this. I want to share that on July 12th, 2024, Solid Rock Church is hosting a Joy Trivia Night. Joy Trivia Night at Solid Rock and Market Common. Joy.
What is that?
Joy, just older youth, 18 years to 100. Potluck. So please bring a dish to share. Bring your thinking caps. We are going to have fun with trivia. So now it went from Superhero Sunday to now trivia. Yeah, they keep having these events. Some people think that's like, you need these events because you need money. You need members. If you don't have members, you have a problem. Oh, this is what he said. This is what Russell said in a statement to the news. This is what he said. They're just trying to disrupt church services. They're trying to scare people away by screaming and yelling at them every day. Long told News 13 on Monday. They can make their point about justice for Mica anywhere in the world. They don't have to stand at the corner of the church. Now, going back, and that's what Russell Long is. So they're trying to say they're trying to disrupt the church. Well, people that are at the protest.
They don't have to stand it. They can stand wherever they want as long as it's not on private property.
According to the protesters, they're all there for different reasons. Some don't like John Paul Miller. Some want to bring awareness to domestic violence. Some want to pass Mica's law. It's a combination. It's a groups of people all over the place. But going back to this guy, and like I said, I don't have no problem with him self-surrendering. Some people do. But a lot of people are starting to say that the Myrtle Beach Police Department is protecting Solid Rock Church. They put barriers up in front of the church for the Sunday. And it seems like they're trying to push protesters away and protect the church in the church's interest. So we're going to monitor that. I'm not so sure. I can say that some members of the Myrtle Beach Police Department attend that church, or did.
Still?
Did or didn't. I don't know how many people are there right now. I'm sure they manipulate the numbers. But we'll, whether they're protecting the church or not, I don't know. But I did predict that you needed an act of violence. You needed an excuse to be able to put and keep protesters farther away. And Rochelle might have been their patsy. Like Rochelle, this could have, remember, Rochelle, Russell Long, John Paul Miller, and the church organizers could have planned this and said, just go out and spray them and spray them. We'll deal with what happens, the repercussions with you. But in return, we can say it's unsafe, and Myrtle Beach can use some sort of ordinances or justification to push the protesters back farther away from the church so it doesn't affect their bottom line, their memberships, the people wanting to attend. Because again, their livelihood is on the line when it comes to money. Money. You don't have people attending the church. He doesn't have money. And so it could have been all a scheme from the get-go. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. You decide. But we are definitely monitoring this entire situation. But that's the latest with what's going on here on this particular segment. Robert Lochel, I don't think he's doing an ounce of jail time. John Paul Miller, when is he going to be put in cuffs? And will they do the same thing to him that they did to Lochel and give him the opportunity to self-surrender and not be handcuffed? He's not elderly. Is John Paul Miller having health problems? It doesn't look like it. So we'll see what happens.
That man's aging quite a bit.
I'm JLR Investigates. Good morning.
Hopefully not. You don't wish pain and suffering on anybody. Hopefully he's not having health problems, but he definitely looks like he's aging quite a bit.
We are Justice for Mica. And before I close, remember, folks, help pass Mica's law. It's important to have Mica's law. Mica's law will save lives out there for future generations, victims of domestic violence. Contact your local politicians and ask them to pass Mica's law. If you're from South Carolina, call their offices and encourage them to pass Mica's law. The quicker it gets passed, the quicker, I believe, lives will be saved. And we always want to save lives.
Molly, thank you. Yeah, that's my own little twist. I like to bring a little bit of humor, a little bit of the lighter side to some of these true crime cases that are just pretty dark. But thank you. I appreciate you.
JLR Investigates and promote that type of advocacy on JLR Investigates. Mica's Law, we are 100% on board with that. So keep the Purple Hearts coming. We'll see what happens with this case. That is the latest developments on this particular case. Everything else seems like it's quiet. Church, one more thing. Church members, according to Facebook, or not church members, protesters, according to Facebook, plan to be back there Sunday, July 14th. Justice for Mica. So they're going to be out there again this Sunday. We'll be monitoring it. Right out front there, there's barriers out there. I don't know if the barriers will be back, but I think the barriers are there to stay. It's kind of sad where we live in a place where a church has barriers up and protesters out front of a church. And the church, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. But it's a serious issue here. This is a serious issue. And people want accountability. People want answers. People are angry. And he actually came out and tried to talk to an organizer of that protest to offer the organizer to go in. The organizer of the protest said, no, I'm not going in there. And I wouldn't go in there. I wouldn't go anywhere near this guy. I would not want to go near this guy. I feel like this guy, could do something I feel the guy's unstable personally. I feel like the guy is on his last legs here, and he's very, very unpredictable in my eyes. I think it's a trap. I don't think anyone should be alone with this guy. So just be vigilant, folks. Don't take the bait. I've just given you my suggestion. You can do what you want. I wouldn't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Wouldn't trust what's going on with this guy right here. He's a loose cannon. And, his track record speaks for itself. And his behaviors to this day speak for itself. It's not like he had bad things in the past and he learned from his mistakes. He's embedded in continuous controversy, day in and day out. Over and over and over. Him and his church. Controversy. Nonstop. It's been going on for years. And it'll probably continue to go on.